Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. And for this reading, I'm going to be using the Anna Kay Tarot. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a card for each section of the upcoming week. Okay, so we'll start with the first card, which represents Monday and Tuesday of the upcoming week. Okay, so we have got the 10 of Cups for Monday and Tuesday. So we're starting off the week with this real sense of, I get a feeling like it's a sense of accomplishment and a feeling of peace. So if you had sort of loose ends from last week, or maybe you had particular projects or goals or things that you wanted to do or things that you wanted to happen last week, you're going to be entering this week with a real feeling of accomplishment. So I feel like a lot of kind of loose ends get tied up and a lot of projects get completed, and there's a feeling of sort of inner peace, like this feeling that that you don't need to be more or do more than you already are. So if this is something that you're struggling with, and if you feel like you're often in that place of feeling like you need to have more or do more or be more, the beginning of the week is a good time to kind of work on those issues and maybe even sort of work with particular affirmations or meditations that you find help you get into that place of just being totally at peace with yourself. So this is a very, very peaceful card. And so I feel like once we get to that place where we feel like we are enough, then miracles can happen and things can move in the direction that feels really good for us, or things might not move in any direction, but either way, there's a real sense of peace and acceptance here. Okay, so moving on to the middle of the week. Oops. So this is Wednesday, Thursday, midweek, and we've got the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles, well, here we see a juggler before an audience, and I get two strong messages with this card. One is that the middle of the week we're going to be juggling a few different things. So you might be, just sort of juggling, work and hobbies, or maybe social life, family life, or even just juggling particular projects. But it feels like multitasking is a big kind of theme for this week. But another thing I get with this card is that you're going to be in some way performing for an audience. And I don't necessarily mean performing like getting up on a stage and singing or acting, although it could mean that if that's what you're doing this week. I get more of a sense like this is about realizing that in a lot of ways life is a performance, and the choices you make and the things you do and the way you interact with others in a lot of ways is kind of like being in a play, and it is like a certain performance, and you always have an audience no matter what you're doing. There's always people that are watching you and not necessarily judging you, but learning from what you're doing and sort of observing what you're doing and kind of taking mental notes. And so sometimes we don't even realize it, but we often are setting examples for others, and we're often implanting little ideas in people's heads, and we're often inspiring people when we don't even really realize it. And I feel like that is kind of the theme this week, is acknowledging the power that we have to do that in our lives and to do that in the world. And we all have this power. So it's not just about acknowledging how we have this power, but also maybe even acknowledging the other people in our lives that we are influenced by. People that maybe have inspired us, or people who just give us ideas of how to live our lives and how to approach things differently. Okay, so as we move to the end of the week, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got 7 of Rods. So this is a more this is more about conflict as we get to the end of the week. So Seven of Rods, traditionally this card symbolizes a feeling, that feeling you get when you've succeeded and you're kind of on top of things, and then that fear kind of comes through the back door, that fear that it could all be taken away, or that you might lose your status, or someone else might take something from you that you have. Another way of thinking of this is, if you have a really crappy car, then you're not gonna really think twice about you're not going to worry about it necessarily being broken into or stolen or getting a scratch. But then when you have some money and you buy yourself a fancy car, that car kind of owns you, because you might be worried about getting in a fender bender, or really worried about it getting dinged up in parking lots, or worried about someone trying to steal it. And you didn't have all these fears and these worries before you even had the car, but now that you have it, you have these concerns. So the Seven of Rods is kind of about that. It's sort of that, it symbolizes self-created inner conflict or self-created fear about things. And a lot of the times these fears and worries are totally unnecessary. And they're very much sort of something that you create yourself. It's not something that comes from outside, even though you might feel or think that it is. But another thing I'm really getting from this card, I feel like this is going to symbolize inner conflicts to do with success and achievement. And you might notice that when it comes to success and achievement, you might notice other people, it might feel like these threats will come from outside of yourself. So, you might meet someone that you're kind of in competition with, career-wise maybe. But know that these conflicts are mainly internal things that you're having with yourself. And this could show up as feeling conflicted about moving forward in your career, or moving forward with a particular money-making project that you really want to do for certain reasons, but then other reasons are making you feel conflicted. So maybe you want to do it because you're going to make a lot of money, but then you feel like, well, actually, this isn't what I really want to do, so should I go forward with it? Stuff like that. That's the kind of conflicts that so many of us are going to be having this week. And a lot of this circles around, or kind of focuses around, authenticity and being authentic with ourselves, and being honest with ourselves about what's bothering us, what we really feel and what we really think about things, what's really important, because we're not always honest with ourselves. Sometimes we delude ourselves in telling ourselves that we want certain things when really we want something very different, or just simply not acknowledging some of our anxieties, because to face them head on would be too painful or too disruptive. So I feel like as we move towards the end of the week, it's a really good time to face some of those conflicts head on, some of those inner conflicts. So just taking a step back from these cards and looking at them all together, the color yellow is really jumping out at me. We've got, yellow, sunshiny yellow at the beginning of the week. Things are very peaceful, and that peace that you have at the beginning of the week, it's going to be important for you to bring it into the middle of the week, because it's going to help you deal with multitasking. And again, it's important to kind of remind yourself of this peacefulness as you move towards the end of the week, when you're going to be dealing with some more inner conflicts, especially when it comes to moving forward with things and starting projects and commitment and getting into commitments with other people. So it looks like a really nice week. It looks like a nice balanced week. You've got peacefulness, there's busyness, there's some inner work going on, but all in all, it looks like a really interesting, exciting week coming up. So I hope you found this reading helpful. My name is Kate, and you can find out more about tarot cards and tarot reading at dailytarotgirl.com. And please feel free to add your own interpretation of these cards in the comments below. Thanks for watching.